Hey everyone, Dr. Rick Marks here of Relate Well, the founder of Relate Well and the Relate Well Institute. We're a nonprofit dedicated to teaching people the relationship skills necessary to have healthy, loving, and mature relationships in whatever relationship you engage in, be it parenting, spouse, parent, child, friend to friend, even in corporations and as a leader. Um, we are a ministry that teaches biblically sound and uh, and research based skills that actually do work. Basically, we teach you how to be angry and not sin. We teach you how to be slow to anger. We teach you how to do the word, right? Now, one of the things I want to talk about today is, I want to be myself, want to be myself, want to be myself. What in the world does that mean? Because all of us have different aspects to ourselves. We just don't think of it that way. And I want to offer you a thought that maybe these aspects to ourselves will help you understand who you are and the areas that you need to work on in order to become a healthy, mature adult, a well-rounded adult. I believe strongly, and I'm not saying I'm right, but I believe I'm right. And hopefully you get the difference. That if we were truly living at the heart of the gospel message, it forces us to become a mature adult. In order to be slow to anger requires maturity. In order to speak the truth in love, because love has a tone to it, it requires maturity. And we know through data and research and books being written about it, America is an adolescent nation emotionally. And that's where we deal with conflict. And sadly, the church is immature as well. You could have a head full of knowledge and theology, but that doesn't make you emotionally mature. It just makes you smart. You can be a very smart person, but very immature. And so I want to talk about the different aspects of ourself. And I'm going to put my uh, uh, graphic up here for us to take a look at. Now, you notice I have these, not so much in a hierarchy, but on some level they probably are. Okay. The very bottom personal part of you, ourself, we all have the physical aspect to ourself. The physical aspect to ourself is basically how we live our life. All right. How do we actually live our life? This is your mind body awareness. All right. Taking care of your body, um, living it with healthy. People who tend to be physically in really poor shape also tend to be emotionally and unhealthy. Okay. Poor emotional health, we'll see here in a minute, leads to poor physical health. All right. This is energy management. All right. Um, so you need to live physically healthy, eat healthy, exercise. Now, folks, let's be honest. I'm about 35 pounds overweight. All right. I was a little more. I've lost some. But even then, you can be thin and still unhealthy, right? So the bottom line is you want to be healthy physically on some level. Why? Because when you're physically healthy, you feel good. You have energy. You can make it. You can do it. Second aspect to ourself is the emotional aspect to ourself. This is how we feel. Physical is how you live. This is how you feel. This is your self awareness of the emotions you're feeling in a moment. You know, when we have high self awareness, we can have self control. All right. But self awareness is a self awareness of what I'm feeling in a moment. You need to be able to have an emotional vocabulary so you can say, not that I'm hurting, that I'm feeling helpless. I'm feeling hopeless. I'm feeling powerless. I'm feeling rejected. I'm, feeling denigrated. You need to be able to label the emotion. All right. This is, you can see it there. It's all listed there for you. We need to live healthy emotionally. Now, if you're an emotional infant, child, or adolescent, and let's be honest, you're not healthy emotionally because you're still emotionally immature. So we want to become healthy, mature adults emotionally so that when conflict comes our way, we handle them emotionally with goodwill, respect, with care, and with humility. The next part of ourselves is known as our vocational self. This is how you perform. This is your sense of purpose and your calling in life. We all need to know that we have a purpose and that we're not here on earth just to exist. All right. We all have a vocation. Do you know your vocation? Do you know your calling? Do you know your gifting? Do you live in it? Do you perform? Are you performing well in those things? The need to succeed in something. This is your vocational part of yourself. And this has to do with how you perform. Next is our social self. This is how we interact. This is healthy relationships. All right. This is being authentic and transparent, uh, learning to be emotionally open to other people. All right. Having good relationship skills, knowing when to talk, when not to talk. All right. How you interact with people. We need to have healthy skills for interaction. Why? Because all relationships need to have an us. And every relationship has an us to it. Don't be the person that harms the us. Be the person that builds and protects the us. So that we have a social aspect to ourselves. This is actually how you interact. Next is our intellectual part of ourselves. And this is how you think. This is, do you have an adaptive mindset? Are you flexible? Are you teachable? Are you thoughtful? Do you ponder? We all have an intellectual part to ourselves, and this is how you think. Have you learned to think? Have you learned to reason? Have you learned to think through your feelings and determine if what your feelings is accurate based in reality? We have an intellectual part. This is how you think. And lastly, we have a spiritual self. This is how you see the world. You know, you can be religious and not spiritual. And some people are against the word spiritual, but the reality is, I'm against the word religious because I know a lot of religious people who are not very spiritual. We are spiritual beings. God called us. We are spiritualized human beings. Angels and demons are spiritual beings. Humans are spiritualized human beings. We have a spiritual part of ourselves, and we have to develop that in relationship to the Holy Spirit. But when we do, we begin to realize that we're not just here for ourselves. We have a higher purpose. We have higher meaning. It's in our spirituality, we begin to realize that what we do has ripple effects in relationships. That we want to live in a way that has greater meaning, to give beyond yourself, to have a purpose. That's why generosity and care and giving and serving is so important. Yes, it affects your emotions and your vocation, your social and intellectual, but ultimately all of that develops you spiritually. And when your physical, emotional, vocational, social, intellectual, and spiritual selves are healthy and whole, you're going to be walking in the highest form of love. You'll be walking as a mature adult, emotionally mature adult, but mature in all aspects. Mature in your thinking, mature spiritually, mature in your emotions, mature in how you deal with issues and relationships. You'll have maturity in all those areas. And here's the key. You'll be a really great representative of Abba Father's heart. Just a thought for you to ponder. It's Dr. Rick Marks with Relate Well. Learn more about us at relatewellinstitute.com. That's relatewellinstitute.com. Check out the Relate Well curriculum. It's online for you to learn in your own home. Take care.